So I was out shopping the other day. You know, I needed to buy thingamabob, whatchamacallit, an SD card for the camera, and you wouldn't believe who I bumped into from school. Oh, what's her face? You know, the girl with really long hair, bit of a big nose. What's her name? Oh, Sarah. Right, guys, in English, this happens all the time. It doesn't matter whether you are native or a non-native speaker. We often forget words. These could be words that we actually don't know if we're non-native, or it might just be for that brief second we've forgotten a name or a thing, the name of it or the name of the person, and we need to find a way to fill that gap, to remember the word, to give us time to recall it. So, in this lesson, I'm going to share my 6 top tips to help you avoid freezing in English. That's right, you don't need to stop talking. You can find ways, creative ways, to actually continue speaking in English, whether that is in a general conversation or, of course, in exams. Yes, speaking exams are notoriously scary, and you often think you need to know every single word, keep talking without stopping, but in fact, this is not what fluency is about. Fluency is also about being creative, about finding ways around a situation if you can't remember a word or if you don't know it. So, to avoid freezing in English, keep watching this lesson for my 6 top tips. And in fact, tip number 1, placeholder names, is going to come in very useful. Before we get started, don't forget, click the thingy-mabob, the subscribe button down below, and make sure that you also click the notifications bell to be notified when we upload new lessons. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. That's right, TikTok. So get following, guys. Right, number 1, as I said before, placeholder names. I'm going to give you a few weird and wonderful words that are actually not really words, but they are words that are used in replacement of a word or a person's name when you can't remember them. Starting with thing. In fact, not thing, but thingy, thingamajig, or thingamabob. That's right, these really are weird, wonderful and creative ways to fill a gap when you can't remember someone's name or a thing. Oh, you know the thingamabob that you put in the drinks, you know, the mini umbrellas? That's right, a mini umbrella, I want one of those. Oh, have you heard from Thingamajig lately? You know, the girl from uni, we went to university with her, I think she's on your Facebook. So when you can't remember a thing or a person, you can use thingamabob, thingamajig, or thingy. Do you have one of those thingies, you know, to clean the camera? Those little cloths, you know what I mean? Now, be careful with some of these. They could sound a little bit rude. What's a face or what's his face? Now, we say it quickly. What's a face? What's his face? What's a face? What's his face? When you don't remember a person's name, it does sound really, really rude. Don't use it in a business context or a formal situation. You would use this with friends. And it often sounds a little bit insulting. Oh, did you see what's her face? What on earth was she wearing? You can also use what's his name or what's her name. You know what's her name? The receptionist, Mrs. Smith at school? Yeah, she's a bit rude, isn't she? And of course, for things, you can use whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit. You can hear call it, like what do you call it, becomes whatchamacallit. Whatchamacallit, let's use this in an example. Leila really enjoys drinking, gin. That's the one. Now, these are even stranger. There was a little bit of logic between thingy, thingamabob, whatchamacallit, but these 2 words, doodah and oojamaflip. Doodah and oojamaflip. Doodah and oojamaflip can, of course, both be used for people or things. But these are great creative ways when you can't remember a thing or a person's name, and perhaps you can invite somebody else to help you remember. So, I really need one of those doodahs for cooking. Oh gosh, what are they? The slow cookers. Yes, I need one of those. Did you speak to Doodah the other day? Well, you know what I mean, that girl from work. And I think Ujima flip is probably my favourite. Whoever invented this word must have been drunk or something. But yes, Ujima flip, for a person or for a thing. Did you speak to Ujima flip last night and ask her about the thingamabob? Make of that what you will. Put whatever other words there you can just imagine. So placeholder names are a great way to help you fill in those gaps, to kind of say the thing that you wanted to say that you can't remember, and it usually gives the other person time to perhaps help you remember or for you to remember yourself. Now, number 2, if you can't remember a specific word, whether that is a job, an occupation, an item, then you could perhaps just give it a context. There are other ways to describe, for example, a doctor who operates on people, a doctor who cuts people open. Bit of a gross description there, gross context. But essentially you are describing a surgeon, and if you do that in an exam, actually I would probably give you some marks for that. I would say that's great. You're finding creative ways to describe a word, which is often why I say look it up in a dictionary, because you get the definition, the description of something. And even if you can't remember the actual word, you can remember the description, the context, and someone else will help you remember, or you will remember in time. Oh, you know, I really love, what do you call them? Baby cats, kittens, that's it, yes. Number 3, describe the purpose or function of that item, or even the purpose and function of the person who you're trying to describe. For example, you might say, oh, can you pass me the whatchamacallit to open the bottle? You know, the corkscrew. So describe the function of something. You may not know all the extensive words in English, but you can describe the function and purpose of something or someone. Number 4, use approximations. Approximations. It's similar to, it's sort of, it's kind of, you get the idea. Oh, what's that fruit called? It's a kind of orange, but smaller. Clementine? Mandarin, that's the one I mean. So it's a kind of, it's a sort of, it's similar to. Approximations to describe something and help you remember, or someone else to remind you. I bought a pair of whatchamacallem. That's a good one, I'll add that to the placeholders actually. Whatchamacallem, what do you call them? I bought a pair of whatchamacallem in the shop the other day. They were on sale. Oh, what are they called? Whatchamacallem? They're a kind of sandal that you can tie around your leg. Espadrilles, that's the one. I bought a pair of espadrilles. Number 5, this is so simple, but use synonyms and antonyms. This is why it's so important to build your synonyms, build alternative words that have a similar meaning to others. Antonyms are words that are opposite. So for example, intelligent, clever would be the synonym, but stupid would be the antonym. For example, you might say, if you forget the word, I don't know, generous, you could say kind, giving with presents and money, thoughtful. There are different ways to describe someone similar to generous. Equally so, you might describe a person as being gullible. Great word, gullible, but maybe not a word you yourself know. Gullible, you would say, is someone who is maybe naive. Similar to, not quite a synonym of, but similar to gullible, meaning that they believe something very easily. For example, I told Sabra I'd won the lottery. She was so gullible, she believed me. She was naive. She believed me because of her inexperience and youth. So almost synonyms, close, similar to. And finally, number 6, and I've been saying this all along, ask for help. If you are a non-native, and indeed even if you're a native, you are going to ask somebody, oh, whatchamacallit, what's that thing that you use to, I don't know, to put your shoes nice and tidy and organised? Yes, a shoe rack. Okay, now someone that is a friend or a teacher or someone you know that you're talking to, they are going to be happy to help you to fill in that gap, whether it's the name of a person or a thing. So do not be scared to ask for help or encourage someone to help you remember the word. Learning a language is a learning process. You need to ask in order to learn. And there we have it. I really hope some of those tips and tricks are going to be helpful to stop you freezing, to keep you talking in English, and to avoid those awkward silences or getting yourself in a bit of a tizzy, meaning in distress, that you're stressed and confused. So there we have it, 6 tips that I hope will be helpful for you to continue talking, to avoid freezing in English, and to boost your fluency level. Don't forget, comment below, try using some of those placeholder names, whether it's for a thing or a person. For example, oh, what's his face? That actor who was in Ocean's 11 and married to Jennifer Aniston. Oh, what's his name? Comment below and let me know who I'm talking about. And of course, do try using some of these yourself. Comment below, use some of these placeholder names, and let me see if I can guess what you're talking about.